Okay, team, today we're going to be looking at the self-protection position, all right? This is what we like you to learn how to do as your number one move, if you like, or your number one position that you want to assume in the event that you need to protect yourself, that you're being confronted by somebody who's threatening you, someone who wants to do you harm or might want to do you harm, and you want to get out of that situation in one piece, obviously, okay? Now, as we've said, we will say many, many times on these courses and in our classes as well. If you can avoid getting into a situation where you have to use your martial arts to protect yourself, take it, all right? Walk away, run away, talk your way out of it, do whatever you need to do. Just get out of there is always your best defense. Okay, your best defense is always going to be summed up in one word, and that word is exit, all right? Get out of there. The only reason you would use your martial arts techniques to try and whack somebody or hurt somebody in any way is if that's the only way you can give yourself time and a chance to get away, okay? If they've backed you into a corner, you can't get past them and you have to do something to them, or you have to make sure that they can't run after you or whatever it is, that's when your martial arts comes into play, all right? And that's a whole area of learning in itself that I don't want to talk too much about right now, but just keep that always in your mind, okay? As a martial artist, you always want to understand when's the right time to do this? Right? When's the right time to use your martial arts? Most of the time, you don't really need to use it. And this position puts you right where you need to be in case you do need to use it, but also helps you to get out of it just in case you can manage to avoid using it, shall we say. Okay. Now, the number one thing to do if somebody confronts you or is threatening you is to take a step back, okay? Give yourself distance between you and the bad guy. As we like to say, distance is your best friend, all right? What that means is that in order to be able to hurt you, they have to be able to reach you, okay? So if you are too far away for them to reach you, they can't hurt you. Common sense, right? You have to remember that in a real fight or self-defense situation, the two people who are fighting are usually a lot closer than you want to think, all right? Very, very close indeed. Often when people watch TV shows and movies and even games, computer games that have fight scenes in them, you see people standing what looks like about 20 yards apart and flying in at each other and attacking each other. Real self-defense situations, real fights aren't anything like that. They are very, very close. Okay, quite literally, hugging distance most of the time. That is how close the other person, the two people are going to be, all right? So you've got to get used to that. So the best way to defend yourself right from the start is to create distance, okay? Step back. Now, you should step back in a way that keeps your strongest side in front, okay? Now, I'm right-handed, so I've got my right foot in front here. If you are a left-hander, by all means, step back and keep your left foot, your left side in front, because that's your strongest side. But I'm just going to do it on my right side today. Don't get too worried if you end up in the heat of the moment going the wrong way, by the way. When things go wrong, as they usually do, you just got to deal with it as best you can, all right? When I step back, I put my hands up in front of me like this, okay? My hands are up the same level as my head to protect my head. My elbows are in, okay? I don't want them sticking out like this. I want my elbows in front of me and my hands open towards the bad guy, all right? I do it side on so you can see. I step back and I do this. So you see my hands are out in front of me. They're not back like this, okay? They're not, I give up, okay? It's out in front of me, between me and the bad guy, all right? This is what we call the fence, okay? Just like the fence around your house, if you have a fence around your house, it's out on the outside of your property to stop anything coming in that you don't want, all right? Now, we often say in martial arts, all martial arts instructors will teach you that you need to keep your hands up when you're defending yourself so that you don't get a hit into the head and the neck, okay? Because that's a very bad place to get hit. The problem is that if somebody is threatening you or bullying you or try to push you around and you put your hands up with your fists closed like this will be seen by the other person as a threat or even a challenge, okay? It's not going to calm the situation down at all. All it's going to do is make things worse. And anybody who's watching what's going on between the two of you will say, well, they put their fists up like this. They just made it worse. It makes you part of the problem, okay? We want to try and calm things down. So when you step back, put your hands up like this. This does not come across as a threat, okay? This does not come across as a threat. It does not say to the other person, go on, I'll fight you. This says, go on, I'll fight you, okay? This says, nah, back off, okay? This says back off. And that's the message that you want to give. Back off. You don't want to become aggressive. Okay, that's one extreme that's wrong, because then you're only making it worse. But or do you want to, shy away and quail and sort of back down? That usually only encourages them as well. You need to stand your ground. You need to stay strong. You need to be bold. You need to let them know that you're not going to get pushed around, but you also need to let them know that you're not trying to make this any worse. Okay, you're not trying to prove anything here. Back off. Okay, so this is your self-defense position. From here, my hands are up and out. So in order to get to me, they've got to get through my hands. Okay, just as much as they've got to get through my hands if I got my fists closed. But this does not get seen as a threat. Okay, from here I can defend myself. I can go straight into attacking if I have to. But the point is that I've got my walls up, my fences up. Okay, I'm looking at them. Okay, I've got 1 foot back, 1 foot in front that gives me balance. Okay, forwards and backwards, because if they try to rush me, I need to be able to brace. Okay, and stop myself from getting knocked over. And also I need 1 foot in front and the other, and I'll be able to move my body in order to generate power. Okay, and when we look at stances, videos on stances, you'll see how important that is. All right. Also, by turning my body off a little bit like this, if they hit me in the body, it'll just bounce off a little bit. Okay. If I'm standing with my chest like this and I get hit in the body, I'm taking the full impact of that blow. All right. If I'm like this, if they hit me, it just will sort of skid off of it. That might still hurt. It might be uncomfortable, but it's not going to knock the wind out of me. I'm not going to take the full impact of that hit. All right. So that's the other reason for that. So that is your self-protection position. Okay, that's your self-protection position. Just going through it again, step back and put your hands up. Okay, palms open towards them. That's all you got to do. Okay, and you can practice that over and over again. That as soon as anybody comes towards you and is threatening you, say, hey, hey, back off. Okay, calm down. Okay, you can even practice saying that, hey, back off. Calm down. Hey, hey, look, I don't want any trouble. Okay, it's cool, right? Whatever it is that feels natural for you to say. Okay. From here, you can do something if you have to, but the good thing about it is that as long as you are sincere in your desire to not want to get into a fight, you should be able to talk things down. If you can't, well, you're ready to go.